Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello. Hey, green light is on. I'm on. My mic is working. Let's see if it is really working. Hang on a second. Test this and make sure it's working. Cause I don't want to mess this up again. Hello, hello, hello. Let's try this again. Can you hear me? Hello, anonymous person. Can you hear me? Let me know. Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Can anybody hear me? Hello, hello. Let's try this again. Hello, hello. Anybody here? But only me? Hello. Can anybody hear me? Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Hello, hello. I'm trying to see if people can hear me. Can you hear me? The green light is on, so I'm expecting that the mic is working. Green light is on. Yay. Hello, hello. This is crazy. Is the mic working now? Is the mic working? Kayla, Kayla. Fraser, Fraser. Hello, hello. Anyhow, muted or not, the green light is on, so I'm expecting that I'm on live. Hello, hello. I'm here. At any rate, I'm here because I want to talk about the fires in Nova Scotia. And a big heart out to Nova Scotians out there. This is BC calling. We've got our fires here too. We've heard nothing. So we're almost nothing. Uh, my heart goes out to Nova Scotia. My dad has a friend out there, Nova Scotia, and of course he's no longer with us anymore. And I'm sure that he would be thinking about Nova Scotia. He had actually drove across the bridge out there, and after it was built, and he was very prideful about driving that bridge. And we hear that there's a lot of smoke, and it's heading down towards the United States, and people are getting upset about the fires. But let's talk about safety, about how to keep yourself safe. Um, One of the ways is that you can wrap yourself up in a wet towel if you're in one of the flames. Get a towel, put it in some water if you got it, or use a water bottles or any kind of water. If you buy a lake, dump your towels in the lake and wrap yourself up in a towel, and you can get through the fires that way. Um, there's shovels. Firemen, I've been told, actually dig themselves into fire pits and wait till the fire goes over them, and then that's how they save themselves. Um, you can wear one of these things and put it over your mouth, and that will help you from keeping away from the smoke from your mouth and nose. So that will help. Um, I know you've gone through horrific times, and we've heard so little about the fires, about how it's affected people, and it's a horrific thing having to lose your house. Um, I think I can share this. When my kids were little, they were only 4, 5, and 12 at the time. This is going back about 30 years ago. They were stuck in a fire with their grandmother. My husband and I were away, and they were stuck in this fire with their grandmother. And somebody had decided to start a fire next to their place and have blocked the fire exit. So the only way that they could get down was through the fire department and through a ladder. The fire department actually had to use their truck ladder to get it up to the balcony, and and they had to climb down the ladder. And they were very brave, and they did it. They followed the instructions of the fire department and got themselves out. And it sounds like a lot of people had listened to the fire department out over Nova Scotia. There's been no major deaths. There's been no major other problems out there. Thank God my kids were alive, and uh, the elderly lady who was my ex mother-in-law was taking care of them, and she had said, "Oh no, thanks. You guys save yourselves, and I'll just stay here till the fire goes out." It's like, okay, there are going to be a few that you're going to have to convince that, okay, yeah, mom, we gotta go now, and it's okay to listen to the fire crews and to imagine yourself in a better place than where you are right now. I mean, it's a horrific thing. Fires are, but you can do things in the midst of the horrible thing. And part of what we can do is listen to the fire department, listen to the instructions that they tell you. If you can, I know a lot of people are not going to like authority. Most Canadians don't like authority, don't like being told what to do. Oh, but preface with the but that these guys do know what they're doing. They've got experience. They're volunteer guys, and they know what they're doing. They know this is their world that they work in, right? And they sort of know how to make things a little bit better. And they are working their butt offs for Nova Scotians over there. And thank you guys for everything that you're doing out there. And it's marvelous about what you guys are doing about saving those people's houses, and they're helping them with their animals when you can. And I wanted to also express to little kids who are probably a little bit nervous about this whole thing, don't have a whole lot to do out there. And part of what I do when I'm scared and I'm nervous is I'll draw. If I don't know what to do about something, I'll draw. So parents, if you can get crayons And somebody can go to the local Zellers there or Walmart, whatever, buy some crayons for the kids. Kids love to color. And what better way to do it than to express your feelings through coloring? I color all the time. This is I drew my daughter Sarah. She died almost 3 years ago now, but I made her into an angel because she is an angel. I've driven. I drove. Yeah, I have. I'm really nervous. Anyway, I have drawn most of my life to get myself out of, extract myself out of situations that are really difficult. And that's part of what imagination does, is that this one right here is about the life of Pi. And I read the whole book about Life of Pi and drew about it. And it might not be the the uh, the animals that were in the book, but they're close. And I'm just confirming. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, thank you. I just got confirmation the audio is working now. Oh, thank you. Um. Anyway, the Life of Pi had different animals in it, and I drove to draw a snake, a weird guy with eyes, and a bag that might have something in it. And who knows what's in the bag? Because at the time I was nervous about something, decided to draw a bag. You know, um, my daughter is has a child, obviously, and she had decided to take her daughter out to go see about fairies. Fairies are really cool, and part of what I did, show you here. So this is Daphne, and Daphne is staring out into the forest, and she really likes fairies, and fairies make life fun. And part of what parents can do is tell the kids, "Hey, let's go find a fairy." You're in the you're in the middle of a horrific event, and what you can tell the kids is, "Hey, there's a fairy. We're going to go find the fairy now." They're like 4, 5, maybe even 6, and they're scared. They're scared. So what you can do is tell them a story about a fairy, and if the fairy can be so magical and so wonderful. Let's go find the fairy. The fairy is on the other side of the street. We're going to get in our car. We're going to curl up in our blankets and our towels, whatever you got. And, here's a bottle of water for you, honey. And you're going to be fine. And we're going to get to where we need to be. And that can be part of the calming effect because this is a trauma event that you guys are going through. And you can say, hey, how about we follow Fairy out of the fire? She's, I don't see the fairy, Mom. Well, you can imagine that the fairy is on the side of the other road. But you got to get in the car with Mommy and Daddy and go and find her. You can uh, tell a kid or an angel. You, but Mom, I don't see an angel. I don't see a fairy. I don't see an angel. Well, they're across the street. They're across the street, and we got to get there. They're just way over there, and you're going to cross the street. And part of what kids love are, let's go find the salmon. Oh, you know what? The salmon are also involved in this thing. And they got to swim through the river in order to get to the other part where they need to be, away from the fires. So, yeah, we're going to cross this bridge to get on the other side of the fire. We got to follow the salmon, got to follow the deer, got to follow the eagles. They're got to get out of these fires too. So let's follow the fairy, like the bear, um, skunks, whatever animal that you got to get them to think about. It's like, okay, little kids, you're all sort of messed up because this is a fire and it's scary. And, poor little kids, they're going through a tough time in Nova Scotia. And they can, you can get them to draw anything. And, as long as you have one crayon, even a pen, a Sharpie, get a Sharpie and get them to draw something on a piece of paper. Scrap piece of paper that's in your purse, or that's in the glove compartment. Maybe it's an old parking ticket. You can draw on that. You know, it's finding the time to find the peace through horrific time. And it's somebody might have a guitar and you can play a guitar. Hang on a second, I'll grab my guitar. I don't play very well, but I do try. Hang on a second. Ugh. Huh? Or not even that. You can even get them to bang on the drum. For little kids to make a sound on a guitar, that's like, wow, man. That distracts them from what's going on. Little kids don't like that. You don't have to be an expert guitar player to get them to make a noise. Okay? Anyway, that's I learned that when I was in like 14, and that's going back like almost 50 years ago from Mr. Rector. Hello, Mr. Rector, in West Van High, and that was a ball class. Barry Rector was a teacher, and he was teaching us all how to play guitar, and it was always fun. And he always made that class fun. He was a big guy, and he had lots of energy, and he also was an actor, and he did some shows. But one of the things that he gave was he gave all of us at the time, at least he gave me, was the idea that you could use your imagination, that you can tell a story about Life of Pi, or not even Pi. It's a monster with a uh, pit wheel, and there's something in the bag. And what's in the bag? What's in the fairy? Where's the fairy, Mom? Where's the fairy? You know, all kinds of things you can do to distract kids. I drew this picture over here, and it's supposed to be a mammoth, but it came out as a puppy. That's okay. Um, pardon me. Um, Part of what kids love is imagination, and what we can give them is that part that says, okay, things are going to be okay, and things are going to be all right when we get through this. You know, I can imagine being at some kind of center, and kids don't have a whole lot to do. So um, in the old days, we used to get chalk out and help them make a chalkboard where they could, play hopscotch instead of being on the phone. Getting them out in the fresh air, in the sunshine, and playing tag, playing kick the can. Anybody remember playing kick the can? No? Well, kick the can was basically you got any kind of can and you put it on the floor of the parking lot or yard, wherever you were, and you all scattered, and then you sort of hid for 5 minutes until somebody came and found you. That's kick the can. All kinds of things that little kids can do. And when you sort of teach them to find something somewhere safe, and then to come back. That's the whole idea. Um, you just don't, you know, I, you know, I think the whole idea is about this whole thing about the fires. Um, is that it's unnerving. I'm way over in BC, and Nova Scotia is like 6,000 miles away. BC have our own fires, and that we don't know a whole lot about what's going on in BC either. And I we do know that Kiamias has had fire. Uh, Kimberly has had a fire. Uh, I believe Kelowna has had some fires over the past couple months, maybe. Um, Part of the problem is that there's not been enough rain in Canada at all, and part of what's happening is that the fire crews have explained that when we do get water, it's so much water that it just runs off. It doesn't get the earth doesn't get a chance to get saturated enough with the water. So part of what homeowners can do is leave a little drizzle tap on their lawns so that the grass can get sort of wet and just sort of fling it around the yard a little bit so that the ground can stay damp. And maybe that's what they should do in the forest, parts of the forest around where these houses are, is get these drips things. And all it is, it's like a garden hose, and they've got little holes in the hose, little holes in the holes. And anyway, what they do is that they pinprick these holes with a old garden hose, and you just plug it into your house water, and that'll keep your grass wet. Or even, you can put it up, fling it up on your roof, and that'll keep your roof dry, your roof wet. Um, some people in the old days they used to get barrels of water. Um, my parents were wine drinkers, so they used to get barrels and fill them up with water because they obviously have to soak them to get them all cleaned out or whatever else. And sometimes they would keep the water in there for a couple of days, and the birds would fly by and get its water. You can leave barrels out for the animals. They're going to need water because they're thirsty. Um, but the firemen would probably appreciate that there's barrels of water around so they can get a drink of water themselves. They might want to dunk their head in the water or something, so get a chance to cool off. Because they're hot out there for working their tail off for getting these fires out. And what's another thing? I know that Catherine at Welfare's in the United States, she had done several um, several things to let people know about the fires in different parts of California. Unfortunately, we don't have the kind of systems that they do in California. We do have some maps, and if I had, and I've seen her enough to be able to sort of know what to do, but I haven't been trained to how to pull up maps on the screen and then talk about it with somebody. And that's part of what somebody should be doing is that people want to know that their houses are okay. So part of what you can do is actually talk about it with the people who are directly involved and say, look, yeah, here's the map, here's the area. You give me the street that you're on, and you want to know about your house. That's part of what Catherine did it on her website, and I want to be able to be able to address that and do that. And unfortunately, I don't have the skills to do that. Um, but I would like to be able to do that for people in Nova Scotia, for people in other provinces, and for even BC. And to be able to do that would help alleviate some of the problems that people are having. They just want to know that their houses are okay. Um, there's also Ring. Ring is like a camera that you stick on your door so that you can see when somebody rings your bell, and it you purchase it automatically onto the camera, and they can see what's going on at their house or into their neighborhood, sort of thing. And that would alleviate a lot of the problems because essentially the firemen are so busy and have so much to do they can't keep track of 20,000 houses or whatever, but they can try and alleviate maybe one block. They might not know about each and everybody's house, but they might know that such and such street, well, that's been blocked off, and it's okay or it's not okay. That might alleviate some of the problems that's about the communication. And I know that those guys are trying to give as much information as they can, and they do the best they can. But there's got to be someone to be able to do that. And if I can get some kind of training, I could help that way. So uh, if you guys all know about what can be done, and know how to put up graphics or a map on the screen, that would be helpful. And I'd like to know that. Um, I, I appreciate the fact that everybody's here, and hello to people. And I'd like to set the intention of a prayer. Grant me the serenity to change the thing that can and the wisdom to know the difference. That's number one. Number one prayer. And God has given you the job of taking care of yourselves and your families and helping each other. You know, there's a whole community out there. There's all kinds of services out in Nova Scotia, and all kinds of storytellers out there, all kinds of support systems that you can rely on each other for. I know that there are some terrific bakers out there, people who can cook up a roast and share it with somebody else, or cook some soup and take it down to one of the centers, or give to one of the fire crews that they can take to the evacuation centers. Um, if you got spare blankets, if you got spare anything that they can use, um, old storybooks. Kids can go to the library and get a story read by the librarian. That's one of the things that can be done. Um, I'm just, you can find some books and take it to a park. Oh, yeah, park. You can't go to a park. Hmm. Well, you can go find a shady spot under a tree in the city, and get a couple of kids together, and kids can tell stories to kids, and ghost stories. You can tell each other ghost stories, and or not tell ghost stories. Uh, Talk about how the river talks. The river talks because it has a raging, fierce way about water. Water can do a lot of good, and uh, I remember hearing stories about all kinds of things, and part of what we do is tell a story about water. I don't know which story to start with. Uh, when I was a young girl, I on a boat with my parents, and they used to go on long booms. Nowadays, they don't really let you do that so much. But in the old days, they used to get on the log booms and have a picnic on a log boom, and that was really cool. Um, Today, you can rent a boat or a catamaran and go and see other parts of the world. Um, I've been very fortunate being able to see parts of uh, Australia, Venezuela, Trinidad, all these other parts of the world. And Australia had fires over the years, and some of their people are here helping us. And some with a lot, United States fire crews are here. Um, Maybe I'm just mumbling, but mumbling's okay. But what I'm saying is that um, we're thinking about you from out here in BC, Nova Scotia, and and my dad's old friend Don McManus. If you're listening, uh, sending love from BC and hope things are going good for you. And he was an old storyteller, friend of my family, and we wish you well, and we hope things are going well for you. And and we hope that all of Nova Scotia and Halifax and Manitoba are all going to get through this. And from here in BC, we're thinking about you, and we have our fires too. And you know, if there's anything that can be done, will be done. And you know, the Fed's got to get it and get the military going for you guys because it's so far so big, and it's got to be solved within the next few days, weeks, months, whatever it takes. And we're here for you. And I'm going to try and learn how to get more maps, try and get some information for you, and try and help things along a little bit better. Um, but I'm going to sign off here, and since nobody's in the chat room, but thank you all for listening. I know I rambled on the last half hour, but thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking with me, and we'll all catch you again. Thinking about you, Nova Scotia. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.